Well, good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome back for Game 2 of the joinDota League Season 3 America Premier Division, I should say. Game 2 of CNB against Union Gaming. For those of you who weren't here for Game 1, that was a fairly decisive victory for Union Gaming. Very nice Wraith King aggressive strat with nice use of Marana Invis. Going into Game 2, it kind of just compounded what we knew before. Both teams doing fairly well in the tournament at roughly the same level, but not too many games played. But Union Gaming still, after Game 1, have won every single matchup they've had against CNB, according to the joinDota website. I'm joined, of course, by Davide of twitch.tv/DavideStevenson, still one of our, well, the leader, of course, of our Wave gamers. But we're having a bit of lag problems. Are you there, Davide? He said,
better now?
That came through Crystal. As in crystal clear.
Still slow. There's a delay on my voice.
10 seconds to
that
go.
might just be a product of having to use in-game.
5 seconds.
But
disappear after the draft.
Okay, fingers crossed. Fingers crossed. How do you feel about these picks and bans so far?
Good. Standard.
Good, standard. I like the very quick Viper ban out coming from CNB. I mean, a little unusual. I suppose it was just the impression that, you know, he's a very good hero. CNB first picked him in the first draft. I'm wondering if they were thinking that if left in the pool, Union Gaming would first pick him in the draft as well, even though it was 40 out playing him last match. I don't know. It strikes me as a little odd. Union Gaming, though, do go for the Brewmaster. I don't know, a little bit risky possibly with Doom still in the pool. But CNB goes for Shadow Demon Invoker. I like the Invoker versus Brewmaster for the mid. Lots of damage coming out from spells, so the evasion will be effectively useless. Shadow Demon possibly a block pick there. What do you think? Or do you reckon they got something in mind?
Absolutely. Invoker Shadow Demon is quite strong, but against Union Gaming, don't let them have the Shadow Demon.
Just don't do it. Don't you dare. Don't you even dare.
10 seconds to go.
Disruption into Sunstrike isn't a bad combo.
5 seconds.
Oh, I can see it for sure.
Reserve time.
1 moment, sorry, just some little glitches going on, but nothing that's going to break the stream. There we go. I was going to say, it does seem like this is taking Union Gaming quite a while to work out how to counter that, but going for the Earthshaker, which I really like, you know, it shuts down the Wex Exhort or Quas Exhort Invoker builds, and it does make the Shadow Demon illusions potentially work against them. Echo Slam, Echo Stomp too strong. You think I'm overthinking this?
Mate, I like the innovation. I like it. Look for opportunities. Look for those analytical points. I like it.
I will say one thing though. I don't think there's enough of the kind of lockdown you need against a Brewmaster, unless you're planning on just fighting through the ult somehow. But like Shadow Demon Disruption, not what you need. You need silences and stuns, not something that makes him invulnerable for a while and then brings him straight back. And Invokers
must be banned by UG here. Must be banned.
Reserve time.
Well, I mean, the Doom against Brew it's a great counter if you get Doom off first. If you don't, it's not great. So I can see the Tide, for example. That's very large AOE disable. That'll actually break down the
on 2 pandas.
Sure, but if you don't get the Doom off before the split, then that's a disable on no pandas. I mean, I'm not saying you're wrong. I would not be surprised if we see the
oh my god.
Radiance pick.
Leshrac. I mean, okay, disruption into Split Earth. That's a very good stun, actually.
I don't think Union is going to pick him up, so perhaps they feel like they can wait a pick. Although I'm not sure the Leshrac was going to be block picked. I don't know.
I mean, actually,
Doom is ignored.
I think Doom would be a
Doom
decent.
Banned out in the last banning phase. I'll be sad.
I can see Doom working for Union Gaming. They still need an off lane.
If they did, then I would have said pick that Timbersaw. But now they've done Pugna, I think, in part to potentially counter the Timbersaw. No Doom?
Radiance pick.
I'm just not seeing much lockdown at all. you know, Cold Snap isn't going to stop a Brewmaster on CNB.
Well, Shadow Demon Leshrac.
That's not enough time to nuke him down. Yeah, but the Shadow Demon lockdown, you can't hit him during the Shadow Demon.
Oh, I don't disagree. A great reason to pick up a Doom.
Yeah, no argument. No argument at all.
Gonna get banned out now. They don't have an offlaner. It's so obvious. I don't understand. Okay.
I mean, I don't know. I think you're overestimating the potential of Doom to counter Brew. Just because it's great if you don't have the ult off, but the minute the ult goes off, Doom becomes useless.
Yeah. I think there's not a lot of great ways to counter Brew. He's a very strong hero right now. But Doom is not a perfect way, but is, I would think we would have to agree, the best way to counter Doom.
Certainly one of the best.
Brewmaster. Maybe
I'll give you that.
Faceless. Maybe Faceless. But it's got to be, or in a Skywrath is also really nice. But okay.
Team ban.
And Doom is the hero of the current meta. I mean, regardless, to have him. Okay.
Pressure bike banned. I mean,
bans.
I would agree with you. And Doom was banned. Like, I think the starting bans were identical, other than Viper for Doom. Those were the starting bans in Game 1. So it's not that these teams don't respect Doom. And also, the thing that's making me agree with you more is one hero I do think Doom is great at countering is Ember Spirit. So if you're going to play Ember Spirit,
right,
you want Doom on
they
your
did
side.
not ban him. I agree completely. Ember Spirit.
Now it becomes a block
Doom
pick.
is better against Ember Spirit than he is against Brewmaster.
5 seconds.
I mean, they do have an offline already, Druid, so I guess it wouldn't fit in perfectly with their lanes.
You could safely in a Druid.
Or the Pug. Okay, alright, whatever.
And they picked a Nature's Prophet into Earthshaker. This
what is
seems
this game?
this seems madness.
What are we
to
doing
me.
here?
Where are we? Is this Dota or are we at Disneyland? And they go for, I was going to say Disruptor also a very good counter to Ember Spirit. That would be something I could see being picked up.
Good against Ember. Good against Ember. Good against Nature's. Good pick.
But I mean, just based on this draft, I got to give this to UG. Just like not even. Oh, I'm not sure who's going to have the edge here.
Yeah.
I just think it's UG hands down.
Absolutely. I mean, CNB does have some very strong combos.
Sure.
But it's going to be very difficult for them to outlast Brewmaster without any real way to stop him from getting it off. Lone Druid, very tanky bear. Good team fight with Disruptor. I mean, they have some really cool combos. I like a lot of what CNB has put together. But they have no frontline in fights, which isn't the worst possible problem. They're gonna have a safe lane Ember Spirit, Leshrac, Shadow Demon.
Whoa. Let's introduce the teams.
What's the Doom? Sorry, yes.
So do you want pick a team? Any team?
I'll do UG again.
All right, let's do this.
All right, so starting off, we have Benjes down here on the bottom lane on that Pugna. In the mid lane, we have Citadel going at the Brewmaster, the much discussed Brewmaster. Headed top, we have Angel on the Lone Druid. The Bear and the Treants running across each other, minions on minions. We have Jericho on this Disruptor, and he's joined in the tri-lane by Zunder on the Earthshaker.
Very good introduction.
Pugna, Disruptor, Earthshaker tri-lane.
Absolutely beautiful. Up on the CNB side, to try and go through these as quickly as I can. We have got Ned on the Shadow Demon. Ember Spirit is going to be played by Clots22. The Nature's Prophet, as soon as he comes in range, is going to be played by Wesley. The Shrek, going to be played by Baga. And Invoker, finally, going to be played by 4DR. And then I can get out of the nice, but somehow worse than it used to be, introductory mode that Valve introduced and then ruined slightly by making it requiring twice as many clicks. The end of my little caster rant there. 4DR getting a really nice block off on mid. No big clashes imminent on either of the side lanes, which surprises me a little bit
very passive.
After game 1.
I think, and Lone Druid is really trying to feed this bear away. He's working on it. I don't think he's going to quite pull it off. But he's really, like, you don't want to let the bear sit there and get stunned, edict by Leshrac. He might get it. I think he is. Oh,
one more.
One right click.
Oh, they wanted it. I mean, I almost think it's worth it. Like, if you can just distract with that bear enough, then as long as it doesn't die, you've actually made a profit, right? Pugna finishing off Nature's Prophet down the
speaking of
bottom. We were looking at
profits.
totally the wrong lane.
Natty Prof takes the fall.
Beautiful job there from them. Now I am not a huge fan of safe lane Pugna, but I get the feeling that this game maybe I will be convinced otherwise.
Oh, I think safe lane Pugna is very much underrated. That fast mech makes a big difference.
Well, first blood, you know.
Doesn't hurt.
So the logic behind safe lane carry Pugna is, I'm assuming, that life drain with Ags is just so damn powerful that you don't need to scale it. It's already as strong as it'll never need to be. Something along those lines.
I think it's more about you want to pick Pugna when you're already planning to group up and push, right? You're not gonna go late game as we're gonna out farm them. So when you go safe lane Pugna, you know that you're not gonna go late game, so you're fine with that. So Pugna scales quite well with good items because he builds tanky and builds intelligence items. He scales quite well with items up to about the 35-minute mark. He can do a lot of damage with life drain and other things. And so you put him safe lane so he can get that really fast mech, so you can group up as quickly as possible to take towers with Nether Blast and secure map control fast. So even though he's not going to scale into the true late game, since he can scale fine throughout the mid game, since you're not planning to go to the late game, hopefully, you put him safe lane, have him get the farm he needs so he can group up and push hard. Get arcane boots and mech as the Sunstrike comes out. Don't kill them, sorry. Get arcane boots and a mech up very quickly, and he'll take over the map.
Well, it looks like we're going to see this. I mean, I'll repeat, I do think I would give UG the advantage here. It does feel a little bit like, you know, that they've gone for Pugna here, and maybe just ties into what you were saying, based on the fact that they've got very hard carry on their off lane and their mid.
Nature's Prophet going around the back on a very low lone druid though, but support
He's
is coming.
salving up. He actually spotted out the Nature's Prophet. They're going for him.
15 seconds.
Prophet has to quickly cut his way out the front. They want him.
Into
Range creep finds him. Just going to take a lot of harass here, I think. Nowhere in range.
Sorry, Disruptor had no mana for either of his abilities.
He got the Thunderstrike off. I think it was the Glimpse range gets amazing, but starts off absolutely rubbish. But lots of damage there.
Terrible. I think
okay, but
very high expectations for Glimpse.
Exactly.
You're used to glimpsing all the way
you
across
think
the
of
map.
Glimpse and you think like, whoa.
Right.
Holy cow, dude.
Right. I'm
Nature's
surprised
Prophet.
Pugna isn't pushing this bottom lane harder. He's finally actually starting to do it, but if you're a Pugna and you have a Nature's Prophet just willing to sit there and go gank around the map, we're not there.
Yeah.
Okay, I'll take the tower.
I think what they need to do is, well, okay, it looks like what they've done here is gone for a single pull. I think they were just trying to do it smart. Pugna hasn't been letting this catapult take any harass. He's been tanking as much as necessary before that. Single pull coming out from Zunda.
Those are arcane boots, okay. But see, Nature's Prophet's already going to be back by the time they do it now. I think, in my opinion, when you play against a Nature's Prophet, and he's ganking around the map, you have to take, because he can rotate in so fast, you have to take every opportunity you can to push as quickly as possible. They're going to have to be very careful here not to let Prophet pull the creep aggro off with the treants before they have a chance to get it on the tower.
Well, that's going to happen. They've got to kill these treants now.
Yeah, they've got to kill the treants. They can
or just nuke down the wave, which will buy them a lot of time. And actually, it looks like they're.
Although Pugna's getting kind of low.
And I just want to point out as well, you know, we were saying about the pick of Nature's Prophet straight into Earthshaker. I know you were laughing at me about this before, but the Invoker has gone for Quas Exhort. So there are going to be just extra things around for Earthshaker to get. I was
laughing about the Shadow Demon. I'm on your team about the Earthshaker, the Natures and the Invoker.
Well, it's just two more units. Oh, and another beautiful kill from Pugna. Fissure, decrep.
But the two more units that are not present most of the time during fights. I mean, again, I'm not saying you're wrong. It's a legitimate. That's a lot of damage.
You say you don't want your Forged Spirits there, backing you up.
No, I'm talking about the Shadow Demon illusions. I'm saying they're not present in fights very much. They're pretty short duration and only used when called.
I think.
Kill going on the Pugna.
I think we'll see that. Oh, being brought so low. Finished off by. Shadow Demon's one of those heroes. You know, it's not bad him getting gold or last hits at all, of course, but it's really hard to get kills when you're up against a Shadow Demon. You just got to be able to nuke them down. If they get away on a little bit of health, they'll be dead before you catch them.
So here's my question for you: Who's the better lifesaver, Dazzle or Shadow Demon? Who does it better? Who wore it best?
So if I was being gone on, who would I want on my team?
Yeah, he'll use like, let's say like, okay,
Dazzle.
you know that in
Easy question.
30 seconds, even though Shadow Demon can also disrupt an enemy hero and turn the gank around. Despite that, you're still gonna save the Dazzle.
Well, I mean, okay, it's gonna.
Dazzle doesn't have the counter potential.
Is impossible question. You know, if I'm really being gone on hard, I think Shadowgrave is better than being disrupted and then whatever. But yeah, if you're right, if you're being gone on by one person, and you're not in too much danger or desperate need to be healed or have to run away, then yeah, you want Shadow Demon.
And Brewmaster right as a TV'd in.
It's one of those easy ones to land. It's because I play Kunkka, so I'm used to landing torrents. I don't respect the Shreks when they land their stuns. I just expect it as necessary. The split goes down, gets a stun down on the Shrek, but nice disruption is going to totally just neuter that stun duration. Well, he's going to make him pay for it though. That's a stun down on 2 of the spirits. Now now they're trapped. It's going to wear off soon, and Shadow Demon's going to be in perfect position to get another disruption if it's off cooldown. Here comes the Sunstrike.
That was a great Sprout.
That was really well played by CNB.
Sprout. And the Leshrac really just baited into a position where they had all 3 units just right in that spot, trying to get to him in the trees. And I don't even know that it was intentional, but it set up that Sprout perfectly. I don't think I've never seen a 3-man Sprout before.
Meanwhile, UG trying to get some traction on mid.
The same units.
Ember Spirit getting out, but very, very, very low. And Shadow Demon left to defend the mid tower without any mana. So yeah, immediately getting pinged out by Earthshaker. We can get this guy, he says. And he's not wrong, you know. He's not wrong.
Pugna low on mana as well, but has
there comes the fissure. There's the decrep.
Timed it a little bit wrong.
And they didn't have
they
the.
Timed it wrong.
They don't have the mana to nuke him down with abilities. Earthshaker wants it though. He's got. Oh, one more right click. I think that might be enough. Oh, he's waiting for the fissure.
Here. Oh, pop.
He was waiting for the fissure there. Gets a stun down on the Ember Spirit to slow him down, but there's the Shrek and Nature's Prophet. Oh, beautiful stomp from Earthshaker. Runs to try and deny himself. Doesn't quite manage it.
So safe lane tier 1's down for both teams.
Yeah, true. Not too much damage on any of the other towers yet. Is that right?
Correct.
Oh no, bot tier 1.
Bottom tier 1 Dire
Bot tier 1 for CNB.
Quite damaged.
That's up against Pugna.
Maybe 3rd damage on top tier 1.
Now
both
Brewmaster
looking pretty well, although a little bit of damage on Dire.
Brewmaster with DD rune. I do not think this bodes well for whoever he finds. But I'm interested to see he's gone Phase Boots rather than going for Blink.
Yeah, I was just about to ask you about that. Well, what do you think about Phase Boots as opposed to Arcanes?
Okay, so I've started trying to learn a little bit of Brew recently. Like I think the Arcanes a lot of the time you're just so active, you do so well in team fights that if you want to try and get away with it and rush the Blink, I think a lot of the time. But I haven't seen many Phase instead of Arcanes before Blink.
That's the interesting point.
That's the thing that's really getting me about this. But a big fight going on. Brewmaster kind of leading his team in, but ending up not in the best situation here. They do manage to pick off Shadow Demon. That'll pay for the Disruptor that they lost. But
DD crit hurt.
What have they got to show for it? Split's not down yet, I suppose.
I think they need to just back out. Everyone's here. Treants are in to push the wave back.
They still got half the time on this DD rune. I mean, that's what they're thinking anyway. If this Brew had a Blink, then they could get the perfect initiation. As it is, they've got to hope that Earthshaker gets a fissure and then Brew can just run up and stomp.
If you split with the DD, do all the Brewlings get a DD?
I'm not even sure one of them would. That's why he's not splitting. I think he wants to just try and run interference, let the team get the tower, and then split. I might be wrong there. Please, anybody in the chat, do let me know if you know the answer on what happens to Brewmaster Spirits if he splits while under the effect of a rune. It's probably something quite important to know.
This is I guess an interesting thing to point out here is because of how focused on early game team fight UG has gone. Although, I'll wait. I was just about to say, because of how focused on early game team fight UG has gone, Nature's Prophet is going to be much more free to split push without as much incentive of being ganked as it was last game. Now, as I say that, he is woefully out of position, all the way across the river with no idea where he gets ganked.
Brewmaster gets the blinking on Leshrac. There's a fizzer to help him, and that's an easy kill. He has gone for the split though, so they should have another kill. The Shadow Demon. It'll be coming off cooldown in 1 second. Nice disruption. He's in the static field though. Interesting. Brewmaster's just leaving. Bang. Oh, and there's Nature's Prophet though, TPing in. He does not want to TP in here. He really does not. Oh yes he does. Here come Invoker, here come Ember Spirit. The split is down, so Brewmaster cannot offer anything really in this fight, and both supports murdered.
He wanted the Echo Slam with the
fishes.
He saw it. Would not have been enough. Would not
with
have
the
been
spirits
enough,
and the Shadow Demon illusions and all that stuff you mean.
The
right?
treants were not down, and they were shockingly. I don't even know how this is possible. No Shadow Demon illusions in that fight.
How could that even
Somehow, that was just brilliant timing on Shadow Demon's fight. That those 10-second duration illusions.
Didn't you know that Earthshaker counters Spectre?
5-second duration illusions.
Best
5-second duration illusions. 5-second duration illusions did not show up in that fight. He was a shock to all involved.
You're just salty and you're jelly. That's what this is. Ember getting up some decent farm. I mean 9-6. I gotta say CNB are holding their ground. I think they've actually had a bit of time ahead on the XP graphs.
I think as it stands now, I'd rather be in CNB's positions.
You think so?
You're down one tower. Absolutely.
I mean, I'm just looking at the items.
Profit? What does that Lone Druid have?
Oh, well,
going for Maelstrom on
forget
the
Lone Druid. Yeah, it's all about the bear.
I know. He's going for Maelstrom on the bear, and he has Space Boots and an orb, which is great, but only has another 1,100 gold. It's going to be another at least what would that be? It's going to be 2,000 gold almost before he has a Maelstrom up.
Well, they just put a tower. He's about to get a kill now on Ember Spirit. Yeah, I mean they've got the team fight potential here. Earthshaker.
They have all the team, but I don't know.
Isn't even
why they're defending towers 2 at a time. That doesn't make any sense.
Oh, and there's a life drain coming out from Pugna. It's not enough to get the kill, but it's certainly enough to bring him low for Disruptor.
That's in my opinion, a pretty poor decision from UG because neither of the other lanes are in a pushing position where they can threaten them going for the second tower. So to TP in like that when you're not confident you can defend it, doesn't accomplish you anything other than putting you at risk from dying.
Oh, do you mean CNB here? Sorry.
Yeah.
Bad decision for CNB, yep.
Sorry.
Bear goes down, but it does look like they're going to get this tower. There's absolutely nothing that can be done to stop them, really. We do have Invoker getting some decent push down on the mid lane in return, including Forged Spirits, so it's a full push Invoker, but he's not going to be able to get the tower.
For anyone who...
Oh! Wow, big fight still going on down the bot lane, and Ember Spirit brought down again by a combination of Disruptor and Earthshaker ult. And Leshrac being caught out here. The split is off cooldown again. Earth Spirit gets a stun. He's going to die just from the Radiance charge, so they just literally ignore him for that last bit. There's the glimpse, brought back, not quite in the static field, but he does have every single spirit chasing him. Manages to get it, disruption off, but there's going to be another stun very, very shortly. Brewmaster's ult is down, but he manages to get the blink crit on the Shadow Demon. He's down, TPing out immediately. Disruptor trying to pull the same trick, not going to be able to make it in time, but definitely worth it, I think. Unfortunately, Invoker though does have time, manages to get the mid tower down that we were saying you wouldn't. But that was two.
Buyback on Ember Spirit?
I was gonna say yeah. Yeah, it was. Clock 22.
I think it was.
Brought back.
That's worth it.
I do not think they are happy with that.
Wants to be a total nerd about everything.
Like Davey.
Invoker, like they have certain Davey. Invokers, Forged Spirits are one of the very, very few units in the game whose attack damage is neither physical nor piercing, but is chaos damage, which basically means that they do very little damage to towers. However, their minus armor does get applied to towers. So Invoker is not a good solo pusher against towers because his minions do very little. But with the big creep wave, the minus armor will help out all the other creeps to do a lot more damage to towers.
Absolutely huge. I was actually checking on the tower to see whether or not the debuff appears. I don't think the debuff actually appears on the tower when it's hit. But I had got the same impression before, yeah, that the melting strike does stack the armor loss. And minus 10 damage on a tower is huge.
I don't know, I don't think it gets the minus 10 damage, but it does get the minus armor.
Sorry, yeah, the minus 10 armor that the 10 strikes from melting strike do.
Right, yes.
Big push coming out from UG here. They just see an empty tower. They know nobody's here. They know that that CNB are going to have to push bottom harder than they can in order to take it. So why not get a bit of quick gold?
And a bear with Radiant and a bear with Maelstrom. You cannot push harder than that. It's not going to happen.
Dire's top tower has fallen.
But again, you know, they're in a position. So we're kind of getting the same thing now. They can threaten the tier 3. and force CNB back. CNB are committing so much to taking this tier 2. It's the exact same thing the Invoker was doing on the mid lane a moment ago. Only this time UG are in even better position to get even more out of it. This tier 3 is down.
2 waves of treants on this tier 3 middle. Are they just going to try to base race it out?
I don't think they need to. All they need to do is send Earthshaker back.
Whoa.
Big initiation. That's Leshrac down. Immediate buyback from him. Yule's off on the Invoker. Desperate to know what's going to happen after this. What's he going to be invoking? It doesn't look to be hugely fast. Oh, and he's going to go down immediately. From the Pugna Ward? No, Pugna Ward taken out just in time to save Invoker's life. Taken out by a last stray hit from the Brewmaster. But of course has Aegis coming straight back, and it looks like UG are on the run here, but they haven't lost a hero yet. Angel in so much trouble does manage to get taken out as they flee. But, you know, they managed to get 1 Rax, 1 tier 3, the Nature's on the mid lane. Still 300 damage left on that tower. I mean, it's...
And it was the range barracks they went for second, so all that damage is permanent.
Melee
and
down.
Invoker Aegis, the only thing that at all preventing them from taking the full lane, if not more.
I mean, I don't think they got what they wanted to when they initiated that. You know, they had the Disruptor ult going down, they had the Earthshaker ult going down, they had Earthshaker losing off Fissure as well. All of his cooldowns started for the next 12 seconds, and then they killed Leshrac. And that's not what you want.
I'm not so certain about that Fissure from Earthshaker. It was basically a Fissure for a Leshrac. I mean, I'm sorry, a Fissure. I mean, Earth's Echo Slam for a Leshrac. I think it would have been better to wait until the fight had... You know, Echo Slam is great as an initiation. It absolutely is. But it's also really good cleanup. Once heroes are already grouped in the thick of fights trying to get those last couple kills and fight their way through, that's often when it's most effective, because when teams know that it's coming, they'll often spread apart so that they do not give a great Echo Slam target. So you don't need to use it for initiation. I would much rather see Fissure back up and then Echo Slam on the chasers or on the secondary fight once people are lower than to try to force an initiation with it, because it's a good initiation tool, but it's not actually that big of a stun. You're only getting the aftershock stun as part of it.
I mean, to me, I guess I'd say it's not about initiation. You know, you can initiate with Earthshaker with Fissure, with the Stomp, with everything other than Echo Slam. Echo Slam then is for when you get people grouped up, whether that's the beginning or the end or whatever else.
If they're hard pushing a tower and they really have everyone together trying to beat down a building, then, you know, if it's a great Echo Slam, ooh,
wow,
what
that
a
was
play from Ember Spirit. I think he's still gonna die, but that was still very impressive.
I don't know, he's got a lot of skip. Oh, beautiful stun coming out from Earthshaker there, well positioned from him.
Gonna be close.
So much regen.
Great play from Ember Spirit. That was a great dodge of that Disruptor ult.
And actually, CNB pushing harder than UG here. They're already at the tier 3. With all their minions, you know, exactly what we were talking about with the Forge Spirit applying the debuff. But actually, I'm not sure that they do, you know?
Is so good at.
I thought the same thing as you.
Dire's middle tower is under attack.
Uh-oh.
Oh, Klotz, Decrep, Mana Drain down on the Ember Spirit, but the Leshrac, beautiful stun there to interrupt. The Pugna Ward is down as well.
Not have a lot of counter push, but that's another range.
It's going to be enough to take care of Nature's Prophet though. Nature's Prophet goes down. It's now Invoker versus Disruptor, I think. Disruptor is liable to lose that if he doesn't run. And now it's 4DR just desperately trying to take out these racks, trying to make something.
He can't do it though.
Yep, not a chance. Not a chance at all.
Doesn't even have his minus armor. Oh, there's new.
I'm not entirely sure why we're not getting more aggressive TPs back from UG, just because if anything they've got a chance to kill the Invoker. Yeah, here we go.
Great, definitely blast. He can take out the Brewmaster here.
No, he can't. Wow, I mean it's just UG seem to be playing really confidently today. They get into a position, they know what they're doing, and then they just, you know, this game it was the Pugna, and they're just doing it perfectly. They're really hard guys to stop.
I don't understand ignoring the Doom. I don't get it. I mean, I'm not saying the Doom is the perfect hero in every way here. Sure, there are some problems that he would have, but why? Why ignore it? Doesn't make sense to me. If any hero in the current meta to ignore when it's a great counter, is it really Doom?
Sure, I can see that. I mean, I do think that like Doom wasn't the only answer here, but it was the obvious answer, and it's the one I would have chosen as well. Yeah, I think this is just going to be. Oh wow, Disruptor ult catching 2. The Shrek not close enough. Yes, there's a beautiful blink in from Brewmaster. Gonna get off a nice double kill. Does he have the damage? He just needs one big crit, but he's not gonna get it. Yeah, that was a beautiful initiation from them. I really thought that that CNB would just back out incredibly quickly because I thought they'd spotted the Brewmaster, but they seemed to think they could get the kill.
Now I have a question for you, Grumble. You said you've played some Brewmaster. I know it's not your go-to hero or anything.
Yeah.
But why is it that Brewmaster is really exclusively played as this sort of mid-game utility carry? Because though I certainly understand why he doesn't have great natural attack speed or anything like that, he does have an ability to create 3 of himself, and those like the items multiply 3 times. So, though of course again one of those items is not one of those 3 of himself is not exactly a right clicker, literally. But I'm surprised that there's not more of an attention on an AC on Brewmaster. It seems like it could do a lot of work.
Oh, so it's item choices you're wondering about?
Yes.
Right, okay. Well, I mean, okay, I wouldn't mind an AC on Brewmaster as well, but you can't really argue with the Ags. You can't really argue with the Blink.
No.
You know, see what he goes next, sure, but it wouldn't overly surprise me if we saw one.
I usually see Shivas. I usually see him played like a Tide Hunter.
Well, I mean, I think this is the thing, like, he frees up your safe lane. He's almost as good as... Oh, it's a big fight going on. Beautiful job there from Earthshaker getting a nice setup stun from the fissure, but unfortunately they're not quite able to capitalize it. They had a beautiful opportunity there to kill 2. They do manage to come out of it though with the Shrek and Invoker dead. Oh, and Nature's Prophet gets stopped in a TP from a beautiful stun from the Earthshaker, who does go down for his troubles. But if they can get the Nature's Prophet, I think we call it worth it. But they just leave him.
Who hits it first? Oh.
Yeah, Pugna just needed 1. Nature's Prophet needed 3.
Immediate DCs.
And GG called. CNB not happy. I think that's a bit sad. But GG's. I mean, I think they played really well. It's a draft. I don't understand the draft. Like what I was going to say before is that, like, sure, Doom would have been my pick. It would have been your pick. It seems like a good pick. It's a high tier pick. There's other stuff you could go for to counter these heroes, but they haven't gone for any of them. You know, you need hard lockdown. You need lots of stuns. You need to be able to keep these guys from popping key abilities, and they just had nothing to do that with. Shadow Demon to me is
a little bit of salt from Benjaz there at the end.
I'm sure it's all happy and lovely and smiley and bliss.
Hopefully. And again, to be fair to CNB, they did have a stand-in for both games. Thoughts 20 true. I don't think he played terribly. I think he had some very good plays. That Amber Spirit play in middle mind. But I do think there did seem to be a little bit of a lack of coordination between him and the rest of the team. Not shocking for a stand-in.
Yeah, and I think very good games. I think CNB played really well, some really decent plays, but I just don't get the draft. I just don't. Soz. But yeah, GG's. Many thanks to David E for coming on. You can check out his stuff at twitch.tv/David Y Stevenson. In case that hasn't. In fact, just say something. It'll pop up on the side.
Hi, this is my name.
Okay, well, that thing that popped up with Ensign, yeah, on the end. I hope everyone had fun. GG to UG and CNB. Let me think. Right, so UG will now be sitting at 5-3 in the league. CNB will be sitting at 3-3. So this actually puts UG definitively ahead. But with more games played, if CNB can pull off 2 victories in the next game, then they'll be even Stevens. Good night from me. Please do tune in for more stuff from the Wave Gamers. We've got more JDL, we've got our own tournaments, we've got a ton of other stuff, and plus you just get more good Dota. So tune in next time and hit the follow button. Ciao.
See you guys.